Oh, mommy, mama. Are we on? We are on. You have reached me live, the first broadcast of the new year, and Chicken Face. Okay, and I want to, is it Dana Gould? It is Dana Gould talked about how any whistle could be a rape whistle. And then I thought to myself, not a dog whistle. And then he did a whole thing about a slide whistle, not a good rape whistle, and rape, not a comedy topic. So we're going to stop right there. Boy, that's the truth. Is that not the truth? Emergencies. They're going to keep creating emergencies. Jeffrey Epstein, are you happy with the document dump so far? Really sickening to think about Stephen Hawking and what they're saying, right? The orgies with the underage girls. I mean, really perverted, really sick stuff. I believe in the death penalty for the pedos. And I don't care if it's Bill Clinton. I don't care who it is. And they're saying they have videos of Prince Andrew and Hawking and Bill Clinton. And I don't want to see the videos, but I want the authorities to see the videos. And I like these guys put in jail. And do you believe Megyn Kelly? Isn't she kind of hinting, or is it me, that Epstein's alive? And we'll hear from him soon. You may remember the guest last year on this program that said Mossad does not kill Mossad. There's no chance in hell he's dead, that he was a Mossad's agent from Israel, and he was collecting information. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but that's what someone said on this show. But Mossad does not kill Mossad. It's funny how they never have tapes. They never have the tapes when they're supposed to have the tapes. They don't have the tapes. They don't have the tapes. They don't have the tapes, right? When it's a police shooting and need the tapes, they don't have the tapes. Where did the tape? Oh, they were off at night. They were off at night in the prison with Jeffrey Epstein there, Pedo Island. Okay, let's hit the next slide. Oh, that's just crude. Get it off, but very funny. It's crude, but very funny. Get it off there. Get it off. That is funny, though. But, I am someone described me as a cursing Christian. This is going to be a very sporting show, a very short show, and you're going to like this show tonight. We have a very special guest, if we can get him in the jungle, and he is in the middle of a huge story right now, maybe the biggest story on earth, except for Christ. Jesus Christ. And I'm not cursing. I'm not blaspheming. Don't blaspheme. You don't want to do that. I don't allow it around me. I tell people around me. My friend, the taco guy, a taco on a bag guy, Tim, he can't understand. I don't want that. Don't blaspheme around me. Don't do that. I don't do that. I don't want that around me. I have done it. I don't like it. I don't want it. It's unforgivable. And but other than that, I think the UFO story, and Timothy Alberino is working UFO story. We're trying to get him right now in the jungle. He's trying as well, and I think we're going to get him. And as far as the Invisible Girl goes, that thing we just showed her, the Invisible Man, and that's racy. And someone said to me, they said, you're a cursing Christian. Yes, but I don't blaspheme. I might drop an F-bomb here and then, but I do not blaspheme. At least I try not to. And as far as, sexual stuff and women go, I am a flaming heterosexual. I am an alpha male. I am high testosterone. I saw the numbers recently of the testosterone that kids and, 15, 16-year-old kids have the testosterone of what 80-year-old men had when I was 15. They're putting estrogen and stuff. They're putting soy and everything, creating these soy boys that sit in their room and cry. And, I'm masculine. I like women. I like beautiful women. I've got testosterone. I think I'm at 900, they told me. Is that right? Does that sound right? 900? I'm at 900. The low T men, look, everything is about killing testosterone. Everything is about feminizing men, about men being weak. Why? Do you know why? Because men fight back. Alpha males fight back. Are you an alpha? Are you with me? Are you willing to fight back? Are you willing to take a stand? Huh? Get a slide. See, they're going to come after the high T people. That's what this is. That's why they don't have anything to do low T. Oh, that was great. That was great. That was a Holy Ghost moment. You can get rid of the picture. That was in Racine, old Madrid restaurant. And I had a moment with Sam Jones, who played Flash Gordon. I've had a few moments, not a lot, but where we had a sick kid named Jonah And what was that kid's last name? Jonah what? Anyway, we called down the Holy Ghost. This kid had cancer, and I'm not saying I did it. All we did was pray, but man, you really felt the presence of God, and this kid is healed. And his father's the owner of the restaurant. And so let's dedicate this show to Jonah and his father and Old Madrid, a very interesting restaurant. Why would you ever be in Racine? And then we went to the Hobnob, which was fun, which is right out of the 1950s. So, money laundering, by the way, is no longer called money laundering. In 2024, it's called government aid to Ukraine. It's government aid, money laundering now. Do you recognize that? That's the logo to Madame Zuzu's, where I celebrated New Year's Eve. Billy Corgan was the highlight. Wizzo was there. I brought Wizzo, the clown from the old Bozo show. Billy wrote a new song called Wizzo that I think is going to be released as a single for charity. And the show was absolutely horrible. He was great, but they went to other people around the city of Chicago. Had to be very expensive on NBC5. And man, was it horrible. Wow. Is Chicago a den of villainy, man? It is Moss Isley. And any chance they could be offensive, they could. I don't know. I mean, do you want your kids watching the 6-foot African-American guy in the tube top with the beard and the dress and the lipstick and people, oh, we're on TV. It was gross. It really was. Release thing from Madame Zuzu's was very classy. Pfizer is investing, and I'm not saying it has anything to do with the vaccines or anything, but Pfizer, it's like pterodactyl, right? They didn't go to the bathroom because the P was silent or something. Pfizer, $43 billion in a company that fights turbo cancers. Do you know anyone has turbo cancers? Boy, I sure do. It's a new thing, isn't it? These really aggressive, really quick turbo cancers, they call them. And why would Pfizer invest in that? Just all of a sudden, it's... Anyway, go another slide. We are going to
flee
have
war. They leave their wives and kids behind when they go to war. We are being invaded.
Can you play that again? I'm not reading it. It sounds like I'm reading. Can you play that one again? No, play this one.
This is how they are waiting at the border. Have you seen it? When they are captured, they all stand like this. You know who stands like this?
Yeah.
A soldier. These are soldiers. We're being invaded. Wake up.
So loud my alarm went off here in Muller Manor. I don't know if you heard that. Yes, men, I don't know if you heard it because I was talking, but men leave their wife and children to go to war. And these people are coming here. I've seen it. You've seen it. And they don't have kids with them. They don't have a wife with them. And they're all soldier age. Migrants, which used to bring up, when I lived in Salinas, California, the visage of people coming to pick lettuce and help. They just wanted to work. These people are here. Why? There's nothing for them. They're here to be soldiers, and my opinion is if they can't prevent it and if they can't just get rid of him the way they did JFK, they will burn America down over Trump winning the election. They'll punish us, and they'll burn the cities. So, yeah, men leave their wife and kids to go to war, to flee from war. They leave them if they're going to war. So they're not fleeing anything. They are here for a reason, and I believe they're here for a coming war. The number one thing left at our border, Muslim prayer rugs. Also, have you seen the astounding number of Chinese soldiers, soldier age men they're getting? Chinese. Interesting. See, I believe, and I have some evidence to this, and I've talked to some people, that China and Russia are working together to weaken us. It's the art of war that China goes by, and they have 100-year plans. Our plans are every 4 years we redo things. And their plan, and Ukraine is just bleeding us, their plan is to let Ukraine go as long as possible. I believe Russia can step in there and end this thing quickly. But they want to bleed us, and they want us fighting in as many places as they can. I think Israel will be next if it explodes into an all-out war, all the Muslim nations against that little pinprick of democracy, a little pinprick of much light. Yeah, and my dad's prophecy, of course, about Taiwan, you've heard. I won't go into again, but That's what they're doing. They're going to weaken us. They're going to keep us spread out. They're going to keep us fighting here and there and there. It's the art of war. It's their book. It's Sun Tzu. It's their Bible, guys. They're godless. That's their God. That's their Bible, Sun Tzu. And they're playing us, man. They are playing us. They're playing this buffoon in the White House, this buffoon Biden. AARP, 38 million members. What's this say? 38 million members. They're telling them to get their 8th mRNA shot. 8th shot. In the meantime, Pfizer is investing in turbo cancers. Yeah. I want to tell you something. You may think you're weak. You don't matter. What can I do? I want you to know I think you're astounding. I think you're astonishing. I think you're something special. If you're not in getting the 8th one, if you're not going along, if you're not jumping off the cliff, if you're still a patriot, if you still love America, I think you're special. I think you're astounding. I think you're a miracle. I think you, to not be brainwashed by everything they've thrown at you is amazing. To not have gotten the poison, to taking a stand. Man, I was there with you. It was tough. It's still tough. You're a hero. Don't lose sight of that. I don't know if you can hear the Gregorian music, but Catholic Christmas started on Sunday. Today is Monday, so yesterday. And this music, man, evil hates this. I remember Dave Mustaine on my show and others talking about, and Ozzy admitting that certain notes please the satanic realm. Certain vibrations, certain sounds please God. And that's what this music does. We're going to have them okay. Hang on. Oh, I got good news. Let me finish this thought. We're going to be right to Timothy Alberino. I want to roll the intro to the show, Ralph, not necessarily right this second. But, folks, I hope you heard me. The Gregorian music, your prayers go up on it. They burn the incense as well, the frankincense and the myrrh, which dates before the birth of Christ, but it was temple incense for the Lord. And they believe prayers. Come on in. And they believe prayer. We got a few people gathered here. Alberino's an exciting guest. We're going to go to him. So Gregorian chants, if you can put them on your iPhone and play them, you might blast out some residual evil. I saw today United Kingdom has 3 items. If you travel the world, like Alberino could talk about this, but not yet. Peru, anywhere you go on earth, the food tastes different. If you go to KFC and McDonald's, it's our food, right? It tastes different. Well, they don't allow all the shit in it. So when you go to the UK McDonald's, their French fries have oil, salt, potato. We have 90 ingredients. My New Year's resolution last year was no fast food, and I did it. The man count, why are you such a fat fuck still? This year, I've got some evil folks I got to dust that are attacking me, and I'm not going to give them any power. None of my power. None of God's power. God's light. Truth still wins. Truth is going to win. Get ready to hit the intro, Ralph. Get ready. We're going to go to Timothy Alberino. This is the Lion's Den. I hope you do that before you tuned in. This is where the angels and the devils find their choosing up sides tonight, being part man, part monkey, part mystery. And the angels and the devils are playing tug of war with my personality. This is the Lion's Den. You're in it with me. Congratulations. You're astounding. You're amazing. You're alive. You don't have a turbo cancer yet. They haven't gotten you yet. The agenda hasn't worked on you yet. You're still alive. Keep praying for me, and I'll keep praying for you. Let's start the show. I did okay last year, but not great looking at naughty stuff. And you know what I'm talking about. And that's my resolution this year. I got to. And there she is. There they are. Man, God had to make women so beautiful. Timothy, how are you?
Hey, nice to see you again, Mancow.
Always good to see you. And I have some big TV news when you can talk. I am continuing to sell you and sell you and sell you. I think the Timothy Alberino TV show has to happen. And I've got some new news. But in the meantime, did you hear about these space aliens that were at a mall in America?
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody's heard about that. It's blowing up all over Social media.
What's your take? You're the expert.
I don't really have a take right now. I'm very cautious these days because post-COVID, people tend to believe anything they see on social media if it's conspiracy oriented. So I pump the brakes more than I used to on these kind of stories because there's sort of a conspiracy psychosis going around. I don't think we have enough information yet. I don't know that I trust the witnesses that are coming forward. I mean, anybody can come forward and say that they were at that mall. Anyone, and make up some story. So I'm very cautious.
But they're talking about what you've seen. They're talking about types of things that you've talked about, you've seen.
Yes,
it's a familiar story.
Talking about right, tall gray beings, 7 to 8 foot tall alien beings. Well, this is reminiscent of the Vegas incident, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm just pumping the brakes here because it's I don't know. I just don't know yet. I don't know. I'm waiting for a verified eyewitness. I have a friend of mine who is friends with one of the cops that was on the scene. And he called him and his buddy told him that it's nothing out of the ordinary. They were running, according to this guy, they were running some kind of a drill, a new protocol, maybe like active shooter protocol or a terrorist thing. And they decided to deploy and do a test that evening. And I don't know if it's true. I don't know if that's true, but it is plausible.
Do you believe the Vegas incident?
I do believe the Vegas incident, and I'll tell you why. Because there was no other incident like it before it. It was the first, right? And so it was. You don't have to worry about sort of a copycat thing or people using the material from the Vegas incident, the details, to concoct another story. This just feels too much like the Vegas thing. Now, is it possible that these indeed were biological beings, alien or non-human entities walking around the mall? That's always a possibility, but I don't know. There's a lot of hype on this story right now. A lot.
Are you in Peru right now?
I'm in Costa Rica.
Okay. Are you there on business or fun?
Both. I've got an event here from the 2nd to the 4th of February. And I decided to come here and spend a couple of months, come early. And so we're just kind of living here for a couple of months.
Is that a good place if things get worse in America? Do you think Costa Rica, I mean, I've had people tell me it is. Do you think Costa Rica is a good plan B?
Well, Costa Rica doesn't have a military. So I suppose that's a good thing if you're worried about communist coups. It could be a bad thing also, but you know that Costa Rica's got the same problem we have right now. They have streams of illegals coming up that are making their way to the United States border, and so they've got all kind of people getting deposited into their country that they don't want here. And you know what happens under those circumstances? The crime is going up. You have more violent crime in Costa Rica now. Over the last 5 years, the violent crime has been rising. More muggings and rapings and things like this because you have these illegals that are making their way to our borders. These same people who are committing crimes in Costa Rica are on their way to our border. So they're dealing with the same thing. All of these countries are dealing with this stream of illegal immigrants coming to the United States.
Why?
All of these
Why is it happening? Why is it happening? What's your take on it?
Well, I think it's totally planned. I think it's a globalist plan to change the demographics of the citizenry in the United States of America. You know, the good old fashioned American is too independent. We like our freedom too much. So you got to get rid of us. You have to bring in people who don't care about freedom. They just care about, you know, having the kinds of things that we've taken for granted for the last century, right? So when you change the demographics, you take away that Americana spirit, that freedom-loving cowboy type attitude, then America becomes pliable. Then you can meld it into the global governance that they've been trying to create for years.
Third world slaves. Okay, look, I wanted to have you back on. News Nation continues to have some pretty great stuff. No other network is covering it. I know they're having more meetings in the government that I don't even know if News Nation is covering. What's the latest, Timothy, with they're not called UFOs anymore.
UAPs.
Yeah, and the pilots, the life forms. What's the latest as you know it? Update us on the UAPs and the life.
Well, I've been in contact with a couple of the members from the congressional hearing on UAPs. One of the congressmen in particular called me after the hearing and wanted to talk to me about UFOs and the alien presence, and so I've been getting some inside baseball. What's been unfolding there in Congress, and they're getting stonewalled. And these are good guys, by the way. There's a core group of guys and gals in that congressional hearing, in that committee, that are really, really trying their hardest to pop the lid on this thing. And they're trying their hardest to get David Grush in a skiff. And of course, they're getting all kinds of resistance from the Pentagon, even from other members of Congress. And the good news is, although they're not going to get Grush in a skiff anytime soon, they are going to be allowed. They're going to be read into Grush's what would you call it? The documents that Grush turned into the Inspector General. So Grush created this report to back up everything he was saying. He has the proof in the report. He even has the coordinates of the underground bases where the facilities where these secret access programs are. And so the members of the committee in the House, not the Senate, the committee in the House, are going to be able to read that report finally next month. Now, they're
Timothy,
probably not going to be able to share it with us.
Go ahead. Yeah. Do they have space alien bodies? Do they have ETs?
Yes. Yes, they do. I think I think unquestionably they do.
What variety are they?
I don't know. I would imagine that they're grays. Yeah. Some of them, at least. The majority are grays, based on the crash retrieval reports going back decades. Most of these crash retrievals involve gray aliens of different. The gray alien is. It's not one thing. There's sort of a spectrum of gray alien. Yeah. I think that these biological entities are genetically engineered to spec, just like their craft. In other words, they're each engineered for a very specific purpose, and so they would look a little bit different based on purposes, based on what they're designed to do.
From another planet, or we don't know.
That's kind of irrelevant, and I'll tell you why. Yeah. If they have the technology to go to Mars, doesn't that qualify them as extraterrestrials at that point? If they got a base on Mars and they're
it ties into the Christian Bible how?
Well, I think it ties into
you wrote a whole book about it.
It ties into a Christian worldview, certainly. If you place, as I talk about in my book, if you have an anthropocentric worldview, if you have an anthropocentric perspective of the universe, then you're going to have a real hard time dealing with non-human entities. If you have a Christocentric perspective of the universe, in other words, anthropocentrism places man at the center of all things, like the hub of a wheel, right? And everything revolves around man. That's the majority view actually among Christians, but I don't believe it's doctrinally sound. In fact, I would say that it's erroneous. The correct view is Christ at the center of all things. That's called the Christocentric perspective. And if you place Christ, he's the hub of the wheel, everything else, including us, revolves around him. He's the main character. We are the ancillary characters in his story. Yes. So you can have a whole constellation of other creatures and beings in the universe because the story isn't about us. It's about him.
Yeah.
And in fact, there are other beings in the universe. Angels are sentient extraterrestrial beings. The earth didn't even exist yet when they were created.
If you read your Bible, that's what it says. All right. What did you experience in Peru when you investigated these people being attacked and everything? Is it real or was it malarkey?
Oh, that's definitely real. There's no question that was real.
So what people may not know about this. I've been following this. We were trying to get you on. We're going to end with this, folks. But he went down and really went right deep into the jungles of Peru, where he lived for years, And I fell in love with the country of Peru last year. I could live there, although he's kind of talking me out of that idea. But tell us about. I want to tell us about Peru with the alien attacks, the hovercrafts, everything.
Okay. Well, the village of San Antonio de Pintuyacu, that's where the first incidents were taking place. It's a remote village up in the Nanay region of the Amazon, Peruvian Amazon. And as you said, I lived in that region or close to that region. I've been in and out of that region, and I lived close to that region for some time when I was 19 years old, by the way. So I speak the local dialect, which is Spanish, but it's Spanish mixed with Quechua. They call it charapa. And I'm just very familiar with the people. And so it made sense for me to go. It took 2 days to get up the river. I chartered a riverboat. And when I got there, by the way, I had an official invitation to go from the chief of the village.
Wow.
And the Apu, they call him, he got together with the other elders of the village, and they drafted a letter and gave me an official invitation to come and investigate. I found out that they were running really low on supplies because they were not going into the jungle. They were too frightened to go into the jungle. It was too dangerous, and so they were just patrolling their village. So they weren't going even out to harvest their food in their what's called their chakras, their little farms. And so I decided to supply the village as well, and I had some help from some guys from Conduit Church help me fund the expedition, and I was able to supply the village with food and medical supplies, and we brought them strategic technology. We brought them, because you have to understand, they've been patrolling their village every night, and so we brought them high-powered flashlights, thermal vision goggles, night vision goggles with recording capabilities, and radios to help to support their patrols. And so when I arrived to the village, and I took my buddy Doug Thornton with me, who's ex-infantry Marine and DHS guy, and when we arrived, we were met by the villagers. All the men of the village were there with their guns, there to receive us. And I have never been in a village in the jungle where all the men are armed 24/7. Never. This is the first time. And but we were very well received. Yeah, it was like an army. They were like an army ready for battle.
What are they battling?
Well, when I began to investigate and interview them, they all told me the same story. All of them. And I interviewed lots of people in that village, men, women, probably 30 people, maybe even 50 in that village I talked to about this. And they all saw the same thing. They were being assaulted by very strange assailants. They were humanoids. They were people dressed in black armored bodysuits, head to foot. And they had helmets, and their helmets were elongated in the back, and they had almond-shaped yellow or green tinted eye lenses. And the really bizarre thing is they would enter the village flying on these hoverboards, these circular hoverboards, and the hoverboards had a series of lights on them. They also had floodlights on them, and so the villagers would see just these like little mini UFOs flying around above them. They wouldn't hear anything. They just see these little mini UFOs flying around. And if they would put their flashlight on one, they would see the silhouette of a person on top of it. That's why they were likening it to the Green Goblin. They would see a person on top, sort of like this. And these guys would always come in pairs of two, and they would go land in the jungle. They'd land their hoverboards, and then they would walk, or some guys told me float into the village. I was told by a couple of different guys that aside from their circular hoverboards, they also have these disc-like devices on the bottom of their shoes that allow them to float. So they got the hoverboards that they can take off at high rates of speed, and then they can float around just using their shoes. That's what a couple of these guys swore to me that's. And these guys, they fired on these assailants at point blank range with 16 gauge shotguns. Point blank range. In fact, one guy told me, he said, I walked right up on one of these guys. I put my flashlight on him. He said he was hovering off the ground. I said, was he on a disc? Was he on a hoverboard? He said, no, He was just his boots, and there was like lights emanating from the bottom of his shoes, and he was just sort of floating. And then this Peruvian guy, he said he discharged his shotgun. He shot him point blank range, and it knocked the guy on his back. But he just popped back up. He just popped right back up and left and escaped, basically.
What are they? What are they?
And he told me that when they shoot him, they can hear the BBs, the pellets from the bird shot dinking off of their armor, their body armor.
What are they, and why are they there? Do you have any? I mean, are they hurting them?
I think they're human beings. I don't know. I can't say for sure what they are. I mean, you could speculate all day long. Are they tall grays? Are they reptilians? Are they tall whites? Are they just human beings? Are they hybrids? You know, you could just speculate all endlessly. But for all intents and purposes, they seem to be nefarious human beings in possession of extremely advanced technology. Apart from these discs these hoverboards that they fly around on, they also have advanced aerospace vehicles. They have these vehicles that are about the size of large helicopters, like a Chinook or a Black Hawk helicopter, but they're not shaped like a helicopter. They're shaped like an acorn on its side, right? Yeah. So the craft sort of point, and then it's wider in the back like an acorn, and it's got these little stubby protrusions, but it doesn't have wings. And these little protrusions, they open up and they deploy a series of rapidly blinking lights, and then the thing can move off at high rates of speed. And when it moves, it's totally silent, hovers over the village. Multiple people told me they saw these things, totally silent. But when it moves, it creates a low frequency humming sound as it moves. And one guy told me he was pulling up his nets at 3 a.m. in the morning, and all of a sudden he's like, it's like somebody turned the lights on, like the sun just came up. Everything's lit up around him, and he sees a reflection in the water that there's something above him. He looks up and he sees one of these craft right above him, like 30, 40 feet above him, but it's transparent, like mesh, like some sort of mesh body armor, and he can see into it. And he said he saw two guys sitting there. One was like in the cockpit and the other one was like in the middle. And he had a long view. He drew it on an acrylic board for me, and other people drew it in the dirt for me. They all drew the same craft. So we're not just talking about guys, you know, with conventional hoverboard technology. This is advanced tech.
So what's there that's of value? Is there anything valuable there? Is there a reason they would be there?
Well, it's important to understand that the incident spread like wildfire on social media, much like the Miami thing, because some videos were captured in that village and other villages and other places of strange goings on. And so there, in this particular village, San Antonio Pinto Yaku, I'm going to answer your question here. In San Antonio Pinto Yaku, there was an attempted abduction of a 15-year-old girl named Talia. And two of these guys attempted to abduct her one evening, and it was very gruesome. They tried to cut her face off. They slapped her in the face. They put this cream all over her face, and it was not going to end well for Talia. But she was able to break free and scream for a second, and her brother and a bunch of the other people, the villagers, came running to her with flashlights, and they saw the assailants there. They saw them again, like sort of surfing on these discs, and they escaped. They shot up into the sky, and after that, the police arrived. They had a Navy escort, but the two police officers arrived with the Navy escort and did just sort of very, I always say piss poor investigation. They did an investigation. They really did nothing. They just interviewed Talia. The villagers were begging for the Navy to protect them, and because this was ongoing for a whole month, and they interviewed Talia, and then these two police officers concocted a story that became the narrative. They said that this was river miners, river gold miners with jetpacks. They concocted that story, and that story got picked up by even News Nation ran with it and brought on some guy and confirming that this is what it was. Do you believe the locals?
Timothy, did you believe them?
Absolutely. Yeah. I absolutely. They're very offended by that jetpack story, by the way. That notion that's jetpack miners, they're very offended by that. And by the way, these people, these villagers, this village is very important. It's the Iquitu tribe, okay? Now, they're civilized. They're not running around in grass skirts out there, but they have the village is unique. It's a rather large village for the Amazon. It's got about 200 people. And the government, the provincial government, established a communications outpost there. So these people in this building have internet. They go there and they sit there and watch movies on their cell phones. They see the same movies we do. They know what helicopters are. They know what fighter jets are. They watch Iron Man. They watch all the different the Marvel movies. They're not stupid. They know, they understand pop culture. So they're not going to, mistake a helicopter for something that's clearly not a helicopter.
So what's the name of your next book? Your last one was a smash. What's the name of your next book? And I said I was going to end. I'm going to end, but tell me the name of your next book. And I also want to know what is just for all of us out here. What should we be watching? What's coming? What do you think the next big thing is? And then we'll let you get back to your business there in Costa Rica.
Okay. Actually, I'm kind of deviating. Well, I have a Book of Enoch coming out. Actually, I wrote introduction commentary and on a Book of Enoch. Yeah. That I'm publishing together with Nate Henry, who's been on your show a couple of times, and Luke from Blurry Creatures. So we got a Book of Enoch coming out. That's going to be awesome. And then after that, I'm actually writing a new book right now, but this is a different kind of book. It's sort of a health and fitness book that I'm writing right now. And then I'm going to get back to the other kind of content. But
Timothy, the Book of Enoch has been out. It predates the Bible. So what is your version?
Well, our Book of Enoch is very unique. First of all, I have a very unique perspective on the Book of Enoch. So my commentary and introduction are going to be completely different than anything you're going to see anywhere else.
Well, Plus, we also Enoch for people that don't know.
The Book of Enoch is it's an ancient text. It was found among the Dead Sea Scrolls. It was preserved for hundreds of years by the Ethiopians, and it was around during early church time. And portions of it may, in fact, have been written by Enoch.
Yeah.
The seventh from Adam. It might in fact be the oldest book ever written by mankind. So
Jesus
but portions of it.
The Book of Enoch. Wouldn't Jesus have known the Book of Enoch?
Oh, Jesus definitely was referencing the Book of Enoch in at least a few places. 100% direct references to the Book of Enoch.
Well,
and Jude quotes it verbatim.
Creatures guys to talk about this. This is interesting.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be a great show.
Happy New Year. Safe travels.
Happy New Year to you, Mancow.
Again, I'm working on a TV show for you. This is the modern day Indiana Jones. As my mom used to say, shut up. Good night, folks. Love you.
All right, brother. We'll talk.
Okay.